Welcome to Success in Business. This is where we have a panel of people who are experts in their field, who are going to share nuggets of wisdom. And we're so excited to share the topic, preventative health, today. Welcome, everyone. Go ahead and introduce yourselves. We have Katrina, Patria, and Angelina.
Good morning, everyone. Happy New Year. I am Patria Leone, the CEO and founder of Health for Wealth, and also the founder and creator of H4W supplements and protein powders. And this year, I'm really looking to power charging you for 22. This is the year we got to put 2020 and 2021 behind us for the most part and move forward. Karina?
Well, thank you for having me. Happy New Year. It's Karina Benzineb again. I'm the Senior Managing Partner and the founder of the Benz Investment Group. And I focus on building financial freedom for all my investors and my clients through real estate investment, whether residential and commercial. And today we're speaking about the healthy way. So 2022, we are ready to build a financial freedom through a healthy process.
Very nice. I'm Stacy Mcpherson. I'm the co-founder of Happy Life Results. My company does coaching and wellness and business coaching specifically. And I'm the co-founder with 3 of my children and my husband. And so it's a family-owned business. And our focus is to help people to be able to achieve the success that they want in life without sacrificing joy and happiness and the things that they really care about. So creating a life that increases your happiness, your relationships, and your financial stability. And so we're so happy today to talk about preventative health. And Angelina, go ahead and introduce yourself.
Aloha, I am Angelina from Hawaii. I have an accounting practice over here. I'm very excited for 2022. January is always my time, and I did really well. Like I am excited about the preventative health thing because I, always have to make myself prepared for it, right? Prepared for taxes and tax season and stuff like that. So I'm very excited to be here with all of you and to listen to all the great wisdom that you guys are going to give to me that I could even implement in my own life. So thank you for having me.
Thank you so much. All right, so we're going to jump in with our topic, and we're going to start with Patria.
Thank you, Stacy. This is why I started Health for Wealth. Preventative care is so vitally important. Every behavior and habit that you have in your life creates choices, whether they're good or bad, and we all have strengths. But when you have those behaviors and habits that are bringing you down on a road where it's creating weaknesses, they pull from strengths. And what you really want to do is have that synergy, that 360-degree synergy of strength and balance. And it's not always so easy to do that. But the preventative care is so vitally important. We were all brought up to worry about, not always worry about yourself, help others. But I will tell you, self-care has to be, 2022 has to be the year of self-care, honestly. I mean, when you are putting that effort and care into yourself, you are much better off everywhere with your personal life and your business. Now, for me, Health for Wealth, I started it based on wellness, keeping and preventing myself to go down a bad road of ailments and creating stress unnecessarily. So when I started with my integrated doctor, who is now a very good friend of mine, Dr. Brenda McCarthy, and my mentor, I learned how to be aware of what's going on with my body. It's not all about your nutrition. It's not all about fitness. It's not all about what you look like. It is about mindset first. If you can identify and recognize the fact that there are things that need to be changed, then that's the first hurdle. And that is the most difficult, most challenging one, because honestly, nobody wants to, and correct me if I'm wrong, nobody wants to admit that they have things that they're doing wrong or they're failing at something. Nobody wants to admit that. But when you know there are, and you have the intentions of making those changes, it's life-changing, because moving forward, whether you're, finding out how to do that, getting the proper knowledge and tools, and that's what Health for Wealth is based on, my company. As a health strategist, we explore those habits and behaviors, and we see what knowledge you possess, because over the years, and you guys can attest to this, over the years, you learn what's healthy and what's not. So everyone has some type of knowledge, but when you're missing bits and pieces, what's going to happen? You are going to fail at any goal that you achieve. And 94% of the population fail because they don't have the proper knowledge and tools. So when you work with someone, say we work together. So I take that little obsessive voice that we all have going, why did I spend that? I shouldn't have eaten that. Why am I not fitting into this? Woulda, coulda, shoulda, constantly we have that. We are human. We all have it. I have an obsessive voice inside my head, but what I do and what sets me apart is I help you have that obsessive voice. I help you become that obsession for self-care. So you don't have that self-doubt, that constant pounding into the ground with that obsessive voice. And preventative healthcare will help that, will help you to learn your body, learn your life, learn that behaviors and habits that you are making, most likely subconscious, in your subconscious, they're creating more issues for you. And putting the pieces together and being aware of something, when you identify the issue, that is when you can move forward with creating better habits and choices. And it comes with preventative maintenance. So for me, for my business, and Stacy, you might have this too, where people will go, that's expensive. Well, that's really costly. I don't know if I want to do that. Well, you want to know that objection? That objection, I always say, if you think wellness is expensive, see what being unhealthy costs you, because it's your time, your life, and your money. It's bottom line. If you don't have your health, you have nothing. And knowing your body, knowing your life, and having balance, it affects everything within you. It reflects on your outside of you and then everyone else around you. And it just falls into place. So that's preventative care. I'm so passionate about it because that's what I built my life on. That's what I built my business on. And it's very imperative to have your preventative maintenance, preventative health care.
Mm-hmm. Very,
Thank
very
you.
true. Thank you
I
so
went
much.
on and on.
It's so good, and it shows in your beautiful countenance. You're amazing.
Oh, thank you. Thank you.
All right, so I'll take the second spot. So my name's Stacy, as I said at the beginning, and also, as with Patria, this is something near and dear to my heart. This is something that I've based kind of my entire health regimen on, is preventative health, which you might think that's kind of strange because I actually started it when I was 20 years old. And so usually 20, when you're 20, you're kind of still living life and not really caring about the future. But for some reason, I just decided, I was like, I want to just really find out what's best for longevity and for prevention. And so I did. And it's kind of funny because the thing that really clicked in my head when I was 20 was I saw an elderly person who was trying to just do some basic things. And I was like, wow, it seems like it's a lifestyle that makes people age more than just how long you've been on the planet. So I just did a lot of research and learned a lot about it. And my number one focus at the beginning when I was young was, I was like, the way people move it's so different when they're young or when they're old. And I was like, what's the thing that makes the biggest difference? And for me at that moment, my young age, I decided it was flexibility. I was like, I think that if they were flexible and they stretched their joints, then they wouldn't move like they do. They wouldn't be so slow and be in danger of falling and stuff. And so I just said, I want to be that grandma that's healthy, that's flexible, that can sit on the floor with the grandkids. And so that was kind of the beginning. And so that's flexibility is my number one. And I know all three of you know that I care a lot about it because you saw me do the splits on the stage. So as an, grandma, I'm close to 50 years old, and I've really taken that to heart. So number one would be flexibility. And I actually have 14 points that I've come to embrace through the years, the last 30 years, where I've cared a lot about preventative health, and I'm going to share them with you. But when I read my list to myself, I thought, if I read this or if I share this list, people are going to get overwhelmed. And so this totally is a testament to what Patria just talked about, how mindset, your emotion and your mindset, it's just paramount. So if I share these 14 things with you, you might think, oh, that's too much. That's overwhelming. How could you do all those things? Or Stacy's a fanatic. She must spend all of her day doing these things, which is of course not the truth, because I'm a mother of 7 children, a grandmother to 3, and I run my business, and I have a balanced life. But it's just that I've taken these things and incorporated them into my life slowly and methodically, and now they're just something that runs in the background. I honestly don't think a lot about them. When I go outside, I put on a hat or I wear long sleeves. I just care about my skin. And when I see that I'm needing to look at something closer because my eyes are kind of then I do eye exercises. And so I do all these things. Another thing is that, so I'm close to 50. I don't look like it. My face is pretty, decent, and my body shape. And one of the things that I do is I was like, I want to keep it like this. So what am I doing now that will help me to keep this? And so I actually started a face yoga class, and I did it for 3 years. I had every week we would get together with these ladies and we would exercise our face together. And it was so much fun that we ended up laughing the whole time. So I integrated another form of yoga, which is called laugh yoga, which is also very good for being young and being healthy. And so we would do these face exercises, which are quite silly. They're like the blowfish, stuff like this, and you're tapping your face and you're making such silly expressions. And so I would incorporate these things into my daily life. And then I would share them with others. My favorite one is just put on chapstick and rub it in until it's gone. You're exercising all of the lower part of your face. So that's just an aside of one of the things that I focused on. But I'll go ahead and share my list with you. So stretching, rolling out, and massage. So I lived in Thailand for 5 years, and I would get a 2-hour massage twice a week. And then when I left Thailand, I found out I cannot continue doing that. So I learned how to use roller ball and balls to be able to put on the different points that need massage. And so I spend time doing that every week. And so rolling out and stretching out is number 2. And then number 3 is strength training. So I'm very passionate about using my strength to be able to use in my exercise, not just cardio, but actually making my bones more dense and everything. So strength training, cardio is super important. I think of cardio as it teaches my body that it's springtime. It's time to grow and expand instead of just be still and it's winter and we need to conserve. So it's like youthfulness and it's springtime. So cardio. And then fasting. Super passionate about fasting. I fast for a week every year, and I do intermittent fasting. So I always fast between 16 and 20 hours every day. There are periods of time where I'm consistently 20 hours, and then other times where I'm consistently 16. I go back and forth, but always between that window. Hydration is super important. And I talked about face yoga and laughter and limiting sun exposure. So those are number 10 and 11. And then also something that's important to me, in addition to my blocking out exercise, is to do move breaks. So I set my alarm for 1 hour. I do my really concerted effort on my computer, or what I need to do, and then I take a move break and I stretch and I get my heart rate going. And so move breaks are super important. And then the last 2 are really important to me, and they are eating well. And so my one idea that I would share with you is eat whole foods as close to ripe, as close to harvest as possible. If you just take that one idea and just be like, okay, I'm going to do that. And then you will change, you'll transform the way that you eat and the way that you think about food. So you'll avoid sugar and processed things, so just if you were just one idea that Stacy has, that would be it. And so I'll just share briefly what one thing that I do that is not as close to harvest as possible, and that is I eat a seed blend, but I soak it so that the seeds can have a chance to actually be digested. And I eat that. I get that for my protein 3 times a week. And the seeds are chia, flax, sunflower, and pumpkin. And then I add shredded unsweetened coconut. And you can just let that, soak on counter, and then you add some dried fruit or something with it, or fresh fruit, and then just eat that. It's so good. So that's my little tip for you. And then the last one is just avoiding EMF exposure. So trying to keep your cell phone in the other room, you can buy paint to paint your walls, but I'm not that extreme. But you just want to just kind of limit your EMF exposure to Wi-Fi, to microwaves, to even electricity. You can buy a thing that will determine what the EMF levels are, and they can be stronger from buried cables than from cables you see. So it's really good to know in your home environment where the exposure is, and then limit that exposure. So I talked a mile a minute. I'm super passionate about this and excited. So thank you all for joining us, and I love talking about this. Okay, so we'll turn the time over to Karina.
Let me tell you what you just have said. It is exactly what everyone needs to know for 2022. You summed it up. And it's extremely important. Prevention is everything. People, once you start preventing, me as my background, which is a chemist, it's all about prevention. It's how you're going to set up the process in order to yield a great outcome. In chemistry is the product. In life is your life, the healthy lifestyle. So prevention starts with health. If you don't have your health, like Patricia said, you have nothing, literally. Your mindset cannot function if you don't have a health body. It's not gonna work out. So for me, prevention is all setting up those pyramid, which is exercising. And people think exercising, oh my God, it's a big effort. Exercising can be defined in a different way. The way how you move, it's exercising. If you want outside, if you live in a beautiful place like I do, Miami, it's always sunshine, it's always great, then walk. It's free, but then you are oxygenating your brain, so you're thinking better once you come home to, take task of your professional task. So that's number one for me, is exercising. I wake up every day at 5:30 in the morning, and I disconnect myself from 5:30 to 6. I don't see cell phone like you were saying. I don't do none of that. I stretch. And I learned that from Shanghai, because once you stretch, your blood flows all over, from the head to toe. And then I go for a jog. And jog for me, I can't run, because number one, I'm not a big fan. And number two, I just like to jog. So I jog, and it's been actually the last 6 months, I use Patria magic powder.
Thank you.
True. Well, that's exactly what I do. So I take it, so it gives me all the energy. So I do that. Jogging is major to keep your blood flow. So when you come home, you're already ready to, my God, I'm very, very pumped. And you feel that. Number two for me is cooking healthy. Health, how you're going to control your intake is when you know what you're doing and how you're cooking your stuff. Some people go out and they said, I'm only ordering a salad, or I'm only ordering a soup, or whatever the case is. But they don't know is, in restaurant, people add certain things for them to taste better. And if you keep doing it and then you don't see results, you say, well, I'm only eating soups, I'm only eating salad. But they don't know what's been put in the dressing. They don't know how that soup was cooked, because it's big quantities. So they put more oil, more things, more everything. So taking control of that, cooking, just mix it up and see how it's gonna work out. And this is how I do. Cooking healthy, no processed food, that gives me all the energy to keep going during my day. And also it's meditating for me personally. So I put it in the schedule. People say, how come you manage so many things and you get it executed? If you put it in your calendar, then it exists. That means you cared for that thing. So you put it, and then I have a block of cooking, and I will never compromise that. It's important to me. So I do that while I'm cooking. I'm meditating in my mind. So I'm really that's important to take time to unwind, because if you're on the go all the time, then you become very frustrated without even you knowing. It's the tensity of it. So you have to have your brain breathe, and how you do it, it's completely different for everyone. For me, it's cooking. So I'm doing double thing. I'm eating healthy and I'm unwinding my brain. So that's important. And pretty much like you said, and everyone has his own way how you preventative health. And for me, it's cooking, exercising, which is jogging for me, and drinking water, which back in the days, I did not like water. But then I found a way with this lady over here, Patria. I put that powder, the water sounded better, tasted better, I would say. And this is how you sometimes trick things in order to get you to the great habit. And when you have a healthy mind, when you have a healthy lifestyle, you have a healthy mind, you can give that to your client, whatever industry you are. But if you don't have it, how can you convey it to people? If you don't have a clear mind, you cannot take decisions, and people come to you to take decision for them in your industry because you're the expert. So you go back to number one, which is how do you get to that healthy mind? So there is always a process, reverse engineering. We know the destination, but how we get there? You go back to point A, and point A, which is the healthy body. It's the balance, it's the equilibrium. And once you focus that, everything else will flow. You become happy, you become cheerful, you don't take things to the first level of anxiety and stress. So you do get to think clearly, and you advance and you propel in your life. So that's my intake. So prevention is everything, because if you don't prevent, then you don't yield a great outcome as a chemist.
Excellent. Excellent. Thank you, Katrina. That was amazing. All right, let's end with Angelina.
All right. Okay. What I'm most proud about myself when it comes to my health is my ability to listen to my body. And it didn't happen like quickly. You just learn you learn to figure it out. And your body does start to self-regulate. It starts, and I guess I can say it for me because with taxes, it's seasonal. And so it's always the same. So it's like my body knows what to expect throughout the whole year. Right. And so when January starts, it's like something happens inside of me. Right. And as the months progress and different things happen, it's like my body starts to yield to those things. Right. So listening to your body, I'm very proud of myself to be able to do that. Water is very important. I was just like you, never was drinking water until I realized it saves your life. Right. And so it's like pretty much the only thing I ever want to drink is water. I want to like stay away from coffee and stuff like that. But also knowing when you're pushing yourself too hard. That's the big thing, right? We cannot just push our bodies and push. We have to be aware of when your body needs that break, or when it needs a rest, or when it needs to walk away from whatever's, surrounding you, right? And just doing it, because it's going to keep prolonging your ability to continue forward, right? So that's really important. So I guess for this year, I'm trying to retrain my body because my body goes through those different lulls and things. And so this year I'm intently going to be paying attention, because I want it to be more fluid throughout the year. And so that's my plan, or what my goal is for this year. So yeah, thanks for having me, ladies.
Thank you so much, Angelina. I was so impressed with how you have have that, like you have your whole year planned. Like my year is like out of control everywhere. A week, next week I'm going to be in a different country, and it's just like, so when you talk about it, I'm like, yes, that would be very good. Like routines are important. So that's very good. And then
may I say something on what Angelina said? It was what you said, you knew your body. So you recognize that. And the majority of the people don't. So when they're constantly hitting their head against the wall going, I'm working out for 90 minutes. Well, you don't need to, and you're probably doing yourself a disservice. I'm eating better. Well, you may not be eating to the level of your chemistry, your body chemistry. Karina, we talked about this, the sodium levels, or the taking it to the next level. I don't do, as a health strategist for clients, everything is customized. So I don't do meal plans, diet plans, things like that, because what's right for one is not right for another. And if you're not aware, this is where the problem stems from. So preventative maintenance, we're talking about with what you're taking in. I cannot have chicken, pork, spinach, green beans, dairy. There's a lot of things I can't have because my body chemistry and the hormones, and Stacy, I know you know what I'm talking about, they get all out of whack. Those foods chemically in my body do not work for my body, but you'd think spinach would be great, but not for me. Broccoli, not for me. So what's right for one is not right for another. And that's where I love when you said, Angelina, that you know your body and you feel it coming through your busy time. Yeah, and I'm really impressed the idea that you're, on track and scheduled for the year and know your stuff. Because I'm like Stacy, I'm all over the place. In a good way.
I schedule my sleep, like literally. It's like, and it's not necessarily the whole clock. Like I use the whole clock to schedule when I'm gonna sleep. So
wow.
I
have it on my phone. I have that on my phone. And yes, last night, it's New Year's Eve. We have company at our house. And it said a ding on my phone. And it said, time to go to bed. I'm like,
it was nudging and nudging.
Nice. All right. Well, thank you all. Thank you all so much for sharing. I love how our perspectives are unique and we're all so different. We bring so much to the table, and we're so happy to share that with you today. So thank you all for joining us, and we'll see you again next time.
Thank you so much.
Have
a great week.